What's up, NFL fans? Today was trade deadline, and during the off season, this is what my channel is kind of going to be like. Going to discuss coaching changes, NFL free agency, NFL trades that happened during the off season. So for it being trade deadline, I'm going to discuss the few trades that happened, the biggest ones that I know of anyway. Normally, I do discuss or react to NFL games. But today, since it being trade deadline, it's probably the biggest story right now. I'm going to go ahead and proceed and talk about that. And if you guys like it, please subscribe. Comment down below your thoughts on these trades also. Like it and share it. With that being said, let's get to it. The biggest trade for me is going to kind of be surprisingly shocking to you guys, but is the Jags trading for left guard Ezra Cleveland. 2 penalties all year, which is good. Only 1 sack allowed, which is really good also, especially considering Kirk Cousins is not really a mobile quarterback. So Ezra Cleveland does a really good job blocking. 3 QB hits and 10 total pressures allowed at left guard. The 10 total pressures is, I don't know if that's up to par, I don't know if it's below par, but 10, that's about 1 a game. The Vikings like to throw a lot. They throw about at least 35 times a game. So I would say 10 total pressures is not that big of a deal. Not in my opinion. 1 a game, you kind of expect that. Maybe it might be a little too much, but 10, 1 a game, kind of, it's week 8, week 9, but the Jags get a decent offensive lineman there. Trevor Lawrence is more mobile than Kirk Cousins. Better offensive unit all around. Travis Etienne at running back. The tight end, it's Evan Ingram. They got Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, and I'm drawing a blank. They have one more guy. I know they have Agnew. They have one decent. Oh, Christian Kirk. There you go. And they have Trevor Lawrence. And they have Doug as the head coach. So I really like that pickup for the Jags. You have to protect Trevor Lawrence. And you got to create running lanes for Travis Etienne. So for me, that was probably the best pickup or the best trade that happened at trade deadline today. One of the worst ones, I wouldn't say worst, but one that really wasn't needed, I guess, I don't know, was, let me see my notes here, I'm trying to find it, is Lions traded for Donovan Peoples-Jones. 6'2", about 200 pounds, 12 yards per reception, but after he catches it, he pretty much goes down. Only 2.8 yards after the catch. But this is one that's really bad. I don't know if it's because he played in Cleveland and the quarterback situation there is kind of but only 40 passer rating when he is targeted. And that being targeted, I mean, two different things, right? I mean, it could be off his hands, it could be double coverage, it could be just the ball overthrown, underthrown. Like, a lot of variables go into that, right? That's why that's that right there. It's kind of hard to believe. Well, not hard to believe, it's there, but it's hard to say what exactly that really indicates. You know what I mean? So that right there, I guess they just added another weapon to go with Jameson Williams, Amon St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Gibbs, Montgomery once he comes back from his rib injury. So it might be the worst one right now. But who knows? He might open up things for Jameson Williams or Amon St. Brown. It might be a better pickup than what I'm thinking. But he doesn't have many yards. So with that, that's why it was my least favorite. But it does add another weapon that Goff did not have. A bigger body too. Amon St. Brown is little. Williams is about 6'2" also. So for me, it was an trade. I think that's the best word for it. And then let's get to a trade that was very much needed, and if you guys saw my previous videos, I liked how he was playing, and I'm talking about the Minnesota Vikings trading for Joshua Dobbs. 1,500 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 5 INTs. Not a very good stat line for passing the ball. He had 34 designed runs in Arizona with 119 yards. And then he had 13 scrambles for 139 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. They just traded their left guard to the Jags. The Vikings do like to throw the ball a lot, but one thing I like about Dobbs, he's not really afraid to sling it. I mean, he has his mistakes, especially last game against the Ravens. He had his mistakes, but overall, I think he's a decent bridge guy. I don't know if he's going to be enough for the Vikings to make it to the playoffs. I know they're like on a 3-game win streak. But Dobbs, he's not afraid to throw it. He's a scrambler. He can make plays with his legs. So it's going to be interesting how the Vikings are moving forward, especially without Justin Jefferson for another week or two, I believe. Jordan Addison's really coming along, though. But can Joshua Dobbs throw the ball like Kirk Cousins was? At the same time, can he scramble also? And how fast can he pick up the offense? That's a big thing, too. If he can't run the offense fast, that might be a very, very bad trade. But if he picks it up fine and can learn it, and they don't have to shorten the playbook to make it easy on him, it might be a good win for them. And by good win for them, I mean it might be a good trade. So that's going to be really interesting to see for the Vikings. Not a bad trade, one that they really needed. I was hearing and reading rumors that the Vikings were trying to trade for Jameis Winston, and I'm assuming the Saints wanted too much. I haven't seen or heard nothing after what the price was for Jameis Winston, but is it Jameson? Whatever, Winston for the Saints. But yeah, I think if the rumors are true, I think probably the price was too high for the Vikings. So they're like, no, let's go get Dobbs. The Cardinals are moving on from Dobbs. I think they're going to start the rookie this week. And then Kyler Murray's going to play from his injury. He's back, so they're just moving on from Dobbs. So decent pickup for the Minnesota Vikings. I hope it works out for them. And they could compete for the playoffs if Dobbs picks up and he plays decent. Because he made some good passes for the Arizona Cardinals. He kept them in games. The Cardinals were not a pushover team. So I'm kind of excited to see what Joshua Dobbs does with the Minnesota Vikings. We got a few more. You got about 1, 2, 3 more trades I want to discuss. I want to discuss the Bears dead last in stacks. So they traded for Montez Sweat, 27 years old. He brings 8 sacks. The Bears only had 8 all year, so he gives them a boost there. 15 hurries and 27 total pressures. He's 27 years old. He's fairly young. He got at least 5, 6 more years on him. He's a pretty good run defender. I believe that's mostly what he's known for, if I'm not mistaken. Good pass rusher, but he's a good run defender. Being young, I like that move. I like that move for the Bears going forward. I mean, in this league, you gotta put pressure on the quarterback. You didn't put pressure on the quarterback, I mean, you're in for a long run on defense. As long as you can get to the quarterback, the ultimate goal in the NFL, I'm not even gonna say my opinion, the ultimate goal in the NFL is if you can have your 4 or 3 guys rush the passer, and everybody else is in coverage, that's a success to win football games. I mean, it beats all the elite quarterbacks. That's what you got to do. So, adding a pass rusher for the Bears, I think it's really good for them moving forward. I don't know what they're going to do in the draft. I don't know what exactly, but it's a really good move for the Chicago Bears. Let's talk about. We got 2 more. I'm gonna say Seattle for last. I'm gonna go to Chase Young. The Commanders were trading heavy. They ended up trading both their pass rushers or edge rushers. And the 49ers get Chase Young to go with Nick Bosa, who has 4 sacks, 16 stops, 25 hurries and 44 total pressures from Nick Bosa. So he's not getting to the quarterback, but he's putting a lot of pressures and hurrying the quarterback. And that affects timing. That affects a lot of things for the quarterback, right? It even affects the tackles or whoever he's lined up against. Because if he's putting that much pressure, it's going to cause false starts, holding calls, and so many other things add up on top of that. So that's Nick Bosa. You got Hargrave with 3 sacks, 20 hurries, 26 total pressures as well. Armstead, 3 sacks, 12 hurries, 20 total pressures. As a unit, as a team, they have 18 sacks total. So by adding Chase Young to what I would say is a pretty weak secondary, because the Vikings and the Bengals are slinging the ball everywhere on this defense. I don't know exactly what's going on there at the secondary, but they added Chase Young to maybe that should help out that secondary. Like I was saying earlier, you got to get to the quarterback with 3-4 guys. And Fred Warner has 2 sacks also, but if you can keep him in pass coverage as opposed to blitzing, I mean, you got to mix in the blitz every once in a while. But my main point is, if you can get to the to the quarterback with less pass rushers, then that's a win. So Chase Young brings 13 stops, 6 sacks, 27 hurries, and 38 total pressures. So I believe that's really going to help out that secondary. It's going to really help out even Nick Bosa. I think they played in Ohio State together. Do not quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they did. But adding Chase Young really helps out that defensive front. It's just gonna really help them out. I'm just more worried about the DBs. Can they do their job? Because if you don't do your job, then it doesn't matter what these front guys do. You still gotta be able to cover your guys and press them. If you can press, phenomenal. Press them really good. Really disrupt the timing of the routes. Then adding Chase Young was a huge win. But until I can trust their San Francisco DBs, it's just a really great pickup. But I don't know if it's like the best pickup. You know what I mean? So that's where I stand with the 49ers and Chase Young. It's just last year in this deal too. And I don't know how they're going to get all this money, because they just paid Nick Bosa. They're paying all these guys so much money. So if they lose Chase Young also, then that's why I don't have this trade ranked the best. Maybe they're just trying to win this year, and then next year, who knows what happens. And I'm not sure about the cap salary also, the salary cap for the San Francisco 49ers in 2024. So it's going to be really interesting to see the 49ers play. Love their front, but it's kind of like the Philadelphia Eagles. I love their front, but that secondary is still very vulnerable. So we'll see what happens with the San Francisco 49ers. And possibly my favorite pickup, my favorite trade is the Seattle Seahawks. I know that in one game they had 11 sacks, but they entered Leonard Williams, who brings 2 sacks, and he's pretty much an interior lineman. So he has 2 sacks, 16 hurries, 22 total pressures with 13 stops. And he's going to be paired up with, I'm going to mispronounce his name, Boye Mate, who has 5 sacks, 15 hurries, 23 total pressures. Jaron Reed, 4 sacks, 13 hurries, 21 total pressures. Jordan Brooks, 3.5 sacks. So Leonard Williams, he's mostly a pass rusher guy. Mostly a pass rush guy. So that's really gonna help the Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen out, Jamal Adams out. They're really gonna get to the quarterback good. I like the secondary for Seattle Seahawks, which is why for me Williams is the best trade that happened at trade deadline. And I just think they're gonna be a force on the NFC side now. The offense moves the ball good. They got a good defense. They're mostly in the lead also. So adding Leonard Williams is a huge, huge plus for the Seattle defense. But yeah, those are I think the biggest trades that happened at trade deadline. But if you guys did like this video, like I said earlier, subscribe. This pretty much covered my my channel is going to be in the off season, where I can't talk about NFL games really. So if you guys enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace. I'm out.